I'd like to share with you one of Valto's many success stories. This success story is focused on how a lighting system designer and manufacturer improved their corrective action and preventive action traceability and their time to fix issues by utilizing Microsoft Power Apps. Our initial engagement with this organization came through their quality manager, who we've engaged with previously, and we'd actually delivered our control document system to them. That had improved their policy management and their work instruction and standard operating procedure management. And they next wanted to move on to improving the way that they maintain their actions within the organization. So we engaged with the organization by delivering a Power Platform scoping workshop. Within this scoping workshop, we delivered them the art of the possible and live demonstrations. We understood their existing pain points and their existing ways of working. And we also worked through engineering their requirements so that we could provide them a workshop report that defined the cost of the solution moving forward. So initially from that workshop, we started identifying the challenges within the organization. So we can see the challenges listed on the screen. This relates to typical challenges that organizations face, such as having quality issues that continuously recur, having CAPA actions that last on the list for a very long time and never get closed out, which is not good from an auditing perspective. They were unable to trace who was responsible for different actions and who was accountable for them, and in some cases couldn't even track the actions as being logged anywhere at all. And the reason for this is just because of their data being spread in multiple different locations. There was various different Excel spreadsheets, various different versions of the spreadsheets, all saved on the servers rather than in SharePoint. And there was a number of items that were logged on paper-based forms and that may have just not even made their way into the centralized Excel spreadsheet, or at least one of the versions of the spreadsheets. Right the way through from initial findings, all the investigation data being captured, and the effectiveness review. So we had to make sure that we identified why the issue happened, what the issue was, how the issue was going to be fixed, and maintain that the actual issue or the resolution that was put in place did actually fix the issue sort of 3 to 6 months later. We had to track health and safety items as well, so we were tracking accidents, incidents, and near misses. And as mentioned earlier, we looked at safety observations as well, and these were observations that were made and captured that may have led to an accident, so they wanted to have early intervention and make sure that they were logged. As one part of the workshop and work putting the report together, we did a lot of work around process mapping. So we can see some very complex processes and flow diagrams on the screen here. This is a real effective method to understand the kind of end-to-end process, which actors, we would call them, would be involved, so which departments, which users, any kind of key questions, decision points, etc. So we put together this process because this actually defined all of the background logic in terms of how the application would function, and also how the various Power Automate processes would automate these activities moving forward. So we can imagine that when we wrote this process map, standard process was lots of manual emails, lots of manual paper-based forms being filled in, multiple handoffs, and that all leads to inefficiencies within a business. So we mapped that all out and then defined how the solution could improve upon that. We moved into a development lifecycle, so we looked at wireframing applications and then building out the application. If we look at the results, all the data was all stored centrally. So essentially the issue around traceability, the issue around auditors coming in and not sort of seeing the latest improvements was gone. There was one central location that the quality manager and health and safety manager could access, and they could see all of their data listed there. They could also report on that data as well. Any actions that were logged would have various notifications that go along with them. So at the point of logging, it would notify users, depending on the way the data was logged. So if it was an issue that meant they had to stop the supply chain, it would notify senior management at that point. So people were notified immediately in terms of their SLAs and actions. If actions were missed or were not complete by the set time frame, there would be notifications that would be sent out. These would also have management escalation. So a task that was missed would go to, let's say, myself and my manager. But I would also have notifications of 90 days, 60 days, 30 days before that action was due to give me every opportunity to make sure it was complete and make sure that I've fed back to my manager before it getting to that escalated point. We did some work with them about sort of a few months later to look at some of their sort of reporting in place, and we looked at some of the results that they had. So they actually brought their SLA time, which was their initial response time, down from 3 days to 1 day. Now, the key reason for that was that rather than filling in a paper-based form, popping it in someone's in tray and waiting for that data to be logged on Excel and someone to be sent an email, it was actually logged immediately, sometimes on a tablet app whilst on the supply chain floor, and then would actually send an email notification to the relevant personnel, be it managers, be it the process owner, immediately, so that they could actually action that within the day. If that wasn't actioned within that day, there'd be other further notifications. So again, would not get as bad as 3 days, but if it was 1.5 days, your manager would know about it. So that was key. We also ran some user satisfaction surveys. So when we initially engaged with the organization, we found that there was very poor utilization, or maybe not poor utilization, but people were unhappy with the system. They'd rather not use it. They knew they had to use it, but they weren't happy with the multiple bits of data entry that they had to do. They weren't happy with the fact that they were adding stuff to a spreadsheet and then finding that was in the wrong version. They had to re-add it again, or that their data was lost. So we did manage to increase that score just over a 3-month period from 45% to 87%. So again, still room for improvements there, but we are working with the organization on some further additions to the application that they're looking to make moving forward. Once again, we delivered this as initial phase 1 to tie in with controlled documents, and they are going to be looking at further phases as well. Within the time since working with them, they have had further ISO accreditations. So they've had recertification audits and surveillance audits. They've passed those with flying colours, whilst the system has been in place as well. So here at Valto, we're really happy with that, because obviously when you're building a quality management system, you want external quality auditors to appreciate that system that's in place and continue to deliver the organisations we're working with their ISO accreditation and standards.